Said ho, ho, ho. By the way, guys, we're live and Steve is stuffing his face. So, that's always good. M&M, oh, peanut M&Ms.
It's been a day. Figured I could have some M&Ms. So, how are you doing? How's business? How's life?
You know what? I can't complain, man. Hung out with my family on Saturday.
All right.
Did Christmas, at Mom and Dad's, and got Erica's parents on Thursday, Christmas Eve. And other than that, I'm working with clients and getting a little landscape work done. And when it's 60 degrees during the day in the winter, get stuff done.
Details. Yeah, I got a lot done today. Actually, it's funny. It's really funny.
A lot of actual real work, or like I did work around the house.
What's the difference?
Fair. That's a good point.
Yeah,
I need to
work at work, and work at home work.
I need that manual labor around the house to clear my mind from time to time. I mean, I was putting down big, like when I say big, about this big, like beach ball size limestone boulders outlining a little flower bed, So anytime you get to lift 150, 200-pound boulders by yourself, it's a good day. Clears your mind.
That's awesome. Yeah, when I first started getting into business, I would take my mail with me from the prior day for two reasons. One, because I'd open it up and it would get me like in the I'm working mode, right? Because I'd be doing busy, like basically like schoolwork kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then two, if I ever saw a big bill, it would motivate me for the day
to work harder.
Yeah.
I guess in case we have people that don't know what we're doing here, guys, we show up Monday and drink beer, and Steve took my suggestion. You'll shoot your eye out.
I did. I'm glad that you remembered that, because I'm doing this because of you.
How is it?
This is hysterical. This is clearly from the movie.
Oh, absolutely.
They even have this part right here that says fragile, and then goes with the glasses. You can't really tell, but they've even got like a crack in one of the eyeglasses. And then wait a minute, where's the rest of it? It's right here. It's a major award.
Oh, I've never seen that.
It's hysterical, man. I mean, the box is even better. So it's I actually cheers to Carbach. They did a great job. I hope they didn't have to pay a lot in licensing. I can't imagine how they didn't have to pay a lot in licensing.
Yeah, you would think they'd have had to pay out the nose for that.
Yeah. I hope it works out for y'all.
That's right, exactly. Well, it's been around for a couple of years now, so I think they're okay. So yeah, guys, we show up. We're going to talk a little bit about mortgage and real estate, and we drink beer. So I am still on my last stand kick.
All right, okay.
This is not an IPA, Michael. This is just a pale ale. This is a Simcoe pale ale. It's not as bitter as a typical IPA. It's nice and smooth. So there you go, man. Yeah, Michael, I know Steven's stepping up his beer game. At least has something that, at least at one point used to resemble a small craft beer.
What was Michael's last name? It's not Grimes, is it?
Smith.
Just kidding.
Michael Grimes. Who's Michael Grimes?
I have no idea. I missed a call from the guy today.
Oh.
By like one ring. Couldn't get him back.
Oh. I see. Cheers. Very nice.
It really is kind of fun doing this. So
that's the only time you ever get to drink beer and talk work at the same time.
Yeah, touche. Yes. Hey, so I'm thinking a good title to have on the screen might be Forbearance, Mortgage Forbearance, maybe.
Okay.
Right.
Based on what we're about to start talking about.
I don't need my name down there. I guess it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know why you keep putting your name on there.
I don't either.
You're a little egotistic.
What my name is. How do I edit that?
You just
don't do it next time, I think.
Well, I can do it. You just have to put a space. You have to have something in there. So here we go. Forbearance. Let's talk about forbearance. Now, well, I'm gonna start forbearance because back when all of this coronavirus stuff started, forbearance was rolled out as the savior for all people that owned homes, and all you had to do was place your home in forbearance, and you would not have to pay on your mortgage, and miraculously it was just going to be okay. And then when you decided you could start paying again, you could do that, and everybody was going to be cool with it. And that's exactly what happened, isn't it? That was a question for you.
I thought you said is. I didn't hear it. Okay, this key word there was it. That's almost pretty much exactly what happened. That's pretty much the message that most people heard and received.
That's right. That's exactly what the message that was heard was.
I'll tell you my first reaction to the news that you would be able to skip mortgage payments was hallelujah. How many years have I been complaining about that? Like,
right, exactly.
Let me skip 1 or 2 months of my rent when I was renting. I'll be way better, in a few months, right? And see, now am I in trouble now for even using that name online? I don't know. See,
maybe
I don't know.
You could get in trouble.
All right. So, what was I saying just now?
That's the message that was heard.
My first reaction was, "Hey, we just bought a new home. That's great. Let's, we just put a lot of money in the down payment and all this other debts to pay off. Right? Let's skip a few payments."
Yeah.
And almost the same day. Now, by the way, it was almost what you said. The only difference between what you said and the reality of what it was that there's a few more caveats to how long it can go, and they tack those payments onto the back. So if you had a 360 month mortgage, that's 30, right? And you did a forbearance, you now have a 366 month mortgage.
Yep.
Right. Even if you take those 6 months, you still then after the 6 months have 360 months to pay back. Right. So it's not like you're not paying them back, but you might take a while to pay them back. And so, great. Let's go. Fine. Let's go. Right. Great program. And then almost the same day, my company put out this education thing like, hey.
Oh, you froze. Or am I freezing? Who's freezing? Okay, if y'all are watching, who's freezing? Is it me or Steven? Well. Oh, Steven froze. Shoot. Let me text him real quick, guys. Oh, there he is on my phone. Because that's what he was just about to say is the most important part of this whole thing. And he just logged off, and I think he's going to try to log back on. Basically, what he was about to say is the thing that wasn't really told to anybody, but the lenders figured out then is that you weren't just adding payments onto the back. When they wanted you to start paying again, you were going to have to catch up for everything that you had missed over the last however long that you were in forbearance, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever. So let's see if we can get him back. Because we were actually going to start talking about an article that he had sent to me. Oh, man, come on. This is dead air. Come on, Babcock, let's go. Yeah, Ashley, and you know that it's super misleading. It's definitely a shame. There he is. There we go. You're back, man. I was
on my cell phone. My laptop just dropped its internet connection. Period. Weird. Wow, man, that background's way more clear on this one though. This phone is clearly a much better camera. Maybe I should do this every time. All right.
Okay, so pick up where you left off.
I don't remember where I left off.
You were basically just saying that that's what everybody had thought. In terms of you're just adding the payments onto the back, but you like the same day that came out, y'all got an information piece from your company and
what they told us was that it still acts as a hit to the credit in some cases, right? And that it will actually prohibit people from getting mortgages in the future until they pay it off. So in other words, you want to buy that second home, you want to get an investment property, we need that 6 months back of mortgage payments that you borrowed, right?
All up front.
That you slide before we do anything with you. If you want to refinance, okay, well, fine, I hope you have enough equity.
That's the issue that was happening with the refinances, because people had gone into forbearance, then wanted to refinance after they had been in forbearance 4 or 5 months. And now all of a sudden they were going to owe $10,000, $15,000 before they were allowed to refinance. That stuff was due right now.
Yeah, but did you see that article the other day about how Austin, certain parts of Austin went up like 19% in value over the last year?
Yep.
And like a few of them, not just like one fluke little area. That's people are going to have options soon, and if you could just skip 6 months and then have your equity pay off, pay off the lower interest later, and it actually could be beneficial for some people, but for the majority, it's a kick in the teeth. It'll really slow you down.
I was going to say, if and the parts of Austin that did that, you're right. There were a few, but if you're looking at 5 parts of Austin, and even 5 zip codes in Austin versus the whole area, I mean, and what about in the rest of the state and the rest of the country and all of that?
Yeah, let me read an excerpt from an article, if you would be so kind.
You can. And yeah, Ashley, I think, Stephen, you want to answer this? The spread on the equity would make it worth it?
It depends on your situation, to be
honest.
That's right. You don't, I hate to say it that way, but let's be straightforward. Yes, depending on the situation. It really just depends on how long you're going to stay in the house. That's really the bottom line. If it's a forever home, no, we're not doing this anymore. We've already had our kids, they're gone. This is what we've always wanted. It's on the beach, etc. Great. Okay, that's a very different conversation than somebody that's like, well, we have our first baby, and who knows? Right. Okay.
We have our first baby. We're in a
house, and lots more surprises, and
2-bedroom condo, and it's 700 square feet.
Right. Which quickly turns into 3, and then quickly turns into 4, and should have just bought the 4 in the first place, and nobody realizes, and they don't think. Okay. Anyway, so the bottom line is, listen to Chris on that one, and honestly, it just depends. I would say that. I'm going to toot my own horn on this one. We do soft mortgage pulls at my company. So I would say if you wanted to look at what the numbers tell you to do, that's the easiest and best way to do it. So, if the numbers say, hey, it's time to refinance, it won't be a big deal to your bottom line. It could save you a lot of money each month, yada, yada. Let's do it. If it doesn't, if you're going to be, if you're planning on having kids or something and you think you might be moving to a bigger house, within the next 5 years, it probably doesn't make sense. Most of the time you do a refinance, and it was a refinance was the question, correct? It should pull it.
Yes.
Most of the time when you do a refinance, even today at these low rates, usually takes about 4 to 5 years to break even on what you pay up front in terms of what you save. So if you're saving $100 a month on your refinance, then in about 4 or 5 years, you would have accumulated by that $100 a month all your closing costs, right? So if you're gonna be there 30 years, hey, fine, sure, let's do it. We'll do a 25-year mortgage. You're 5 years in, great. No. Bottom line is that's great. But if you're gonna refinance every couple of years, so I hope you're not moving anytime soon, right? So we can talk about it. Okay, excerpt. Urban Institute is one of those kind of unknown things out there, like what Ellie Mae. Most people haven't heard of Ellie Mae, but it's another mortgage branch. But or Ginnie Mae. Okay,
I'll tell you, wasn't Ellie Mae on the Clampetts?
Quite possibly.
Yeah. Ginnie Mae is what you were going for.
Well, Ginnie Mae and Ellie Mae, there's 2.
Oh, Ellie Mae is an actual thing?
Oh yeah, they run it through.
I thought you screwed up. I thought you screwed up. I'd never even heard of that.
No, there's Ellie Mae.
I knew about Ginnie Mae.
Fannie Mae. There's Freddie Mac. There's so many different kinds. And most people haven't heard of most of them.
I learned something today.
I hope you learn something every day.
Yes.
Anyway, so Urban Institute, they do stuff on housing. They're housing experts, right?
Yeah.
Just listen to this line. The title of this article is "Experts Say Homeowners Exiting Forbearance Will Need Outreach and Assistance." Okay, about 775,000 homeowners have fallen behind in their payments since the pandemic began, and about 299, so 300,000 of them, were never in forbearance. Well, 476,000 became delinquent after they exited it. So, in other words, they got out of forbearance and they went further into debt, right? They fell behind in their mortgages. That was a lot of them. That's a bulk. That's like 60-something%. 85% of those are working with their servicer, but 40,000 have not entered into loss mitigation. So they're thinking that this is just the beginning. If you did the forbearance, then a huge portion of people will be getting worse after they have to start making their payments again. It's not that they have to pay them all back right up front. They don't. Unless they want to do a refinance, right?
Or sell the house, or because that's another thing. If you want to sell your house, but you don't have equity in the house, hello, short sale.
That's a big problem.
And again, guys, y'all have to realize the United States, Austin, Central Texas, is very, very, very insulated from a lot of this stuff because our economy and our market has been booming for the last 6-7 years.
Yeah. So I think it's been like 12 or something.
12, whatever it is. Yeah. But not all parts of the country are like that. So, there's housing markets that have been stable or declining, and people have gone into forbearance, put off doing anything for, 6 months, 7 months. And now if you sell your house, you've got to pay all that money back that you owe the bank, and you don't have any money to pay it back.
Yeah. It's actually stopped a couple people from doing refinances with me. It's been a big kick in the teeth.
Because they didn't have the equity to do the refi.
It's only been 2 people so far that's run into this, but I'm guessing it's going to be a lot more. And the other thing is, I've had plenty of people that have run into this with student loans, right? The mortgage is different, obviously, and it's newer, but there have been some recent student loan changes too. And I don't know what they are, but I know that it caused a couple of issues a couple months ago.
Were people putting the student loan into forbearance or like a delayed
you could
payback?
do that easily beforehand. There was something. Now I'm starting to draw a blank. I shouldn't have said it, but there was some other part of some new bill that went out that caused. Maybe somebody can correct me if they know what I'm talking about. But there was something new. I'll tell you though. There is a really quick fix for student loans that I found. If you have, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 in student loan debt, which a lot of people do, it's crippling. And let's just say you've done the same thing, the forbearance, right? And you now, hey, I don't pay anything on my student loans. It's in forbearance. That means, I get to hold off on my payments until I choose to start. Okay, well, that's true. And they're very happy you're doing that because the interest is just rolling up, racking up.
Yep.
Right. And the reality is I have to use, in that case, as a mortgage lender with you buying a house, I have to use a 1% balance of whatever it is you owe. And I have to hold that against you as a monthly payment. So, if you are a lover of Teslas, you can get a brand new, I ran into a guy a few years ago that had 2 Tesla payments and they equaled $5,000 something each. Not each, but for the pair. So it was like $2,500 a Tesla, right? Okay, so that $400,000 in student loan debt equals about a $4,000 payment each month, almost like 1 or 2 Teslas in the driveway with very, very minimal down. And that's crippling to most people. That's actually a couple mortgage payments. $2,000 is a solid mortgage payment.
Oh yeah,
right. On my first home was a $237,000 home, and it was $1,350. Yep. Right. So I mean, you can great. So it's a lot of money. There's the trick to it though is to take the student loans, get into something called an income-based repayment plan, which basically limits the student loan companies from charging you more than a certain percentage of what you make, which means all that money now has all that money due now has a price that I can use. Where before, when it was in forbearance, $0 ain't going to cut it, right?
Right.
So I had to hold 1% of that whole balance against you. So I'll tell you, it's not a big deal when you don't owe much. If you've got like 20,000 to 100,000, or maybe not 100, but 20,000 to like 50,000 of student loan, it's probably not going to help. You get into that like 150 to 200 range plus, and it's a huge help. That's it for forbearance, as far as I know.
Well, and I'm not going to get into the discussion about why somebody would have $200,000 in student loans, unless they were in school for 8 years and are now a medical doctor.
Yeah, there's something to be said about those specifics, but I mean,
I know it happens with other people. And
what is it, like 60% of people don't do what they went to college for? I'm not kidding. I was in the hospital.
What did you go to college for?
Entrepreneurship.
Hey, you're kind of doing that.
A little bit.
Was that actually I
got what I needed.
You can major in entrepreneurship.
It was really a general business studies, but they did call it entrepreneurship. And I was like 12 credit hours away from a degree in marketing, 12 credit hours, another credit hours away from a degree in business administration. They did away with the program a few years after I left, but I got it. It was great. I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh yeah. I was actually in the hospital. For those of you who don't know, I have a 2-year-old who is on the autism spectrum, and you could walk up behind him and clap, and he wasn't looking at the time. He was almost one, and we weren't sure if he was deaf. So we later found out about the spectrum, part of it. But we took him in to get testing, and there was this nurse in the background taking notes. And somehow the topic of student loan debt came up. And the nurse said something like, "Oh God, I have a ton of student loan debt." And I was like, "Oh, well, hey, it's for something good. You're a nurse. At least it's not like a liberal arts degree." And she says, she goes, I actually have a liberal arts degree, and I am now paying to go back to college to become the nurse. And I was like, "Oh my God, stop." Yeah. And that's her, she was pregnant. I wasn't that bad. But
Yeah,
it was
not that there's anything against liberal arts degrees.
No. But it was, it's not going to get you many job opportunities, I think.
No.
At least that's what I've heard. And
I bet there's a lot of realtors that are liberal arts.
I'm apologizing, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Fun times, though. Embarrassing, but fun times.
Yes.
Have you run into any of this forbearance stuff? Has it stopped anybody from getting a house yet?
The only thing that it has stopped one refi that I know of, and one sale is on hold right now because of it. And they're just having to make additional payments monthly before they get to a point where they're not going to have to shell out a bunch of additional cash at the closing table to walk away from it. So it's probably going to put it off for at least a year before they can catch up, and hopefully the appreciation will help speed that up.
Yeah, that's too bad.
It is, man. Wait, dude, I'm just going to say this was your idea today, and this is a depressing subject for 3-4 days before Christmas. Come on.
It was the top news article, man. You're right, though. You're right. This is actually pretty sad, isn't it? I guess we could talk about the COVID vaccine. I don't know. What do you want to talk about? By the way, have you seen the pandemic special on South Park?
Oh my God. So funny.
South Park anymore. I don't watch it anymore.
I haven't watched it in years. And my wife goes, "South Park's got a pandemic special." And I said, "Okay, we've got to watch it." The little known fact on my wife and my first date. After the date, we came back to my apartment and watched South Park.
Oh my God, that's
a great first date. That was awesome. So yes, I have seen the South Park pandemic special, and I don't have my chin diaper on right now.
Oh my God, it was so funny.
If you are watching this and you are not because if you don't know what South Park is, if you've got a weak constitution, don't go watch it.
No,
it is.
Don't show to your kids. But
definitely
my God,
not for kids.
It's so funny. And everybody's sincerely telling him, "No, this pandemic special is great." And he, whatever. The whole guy. My kid's all into Mickey Mouse right now, and what they did to Mickey Mouse South Park series in general is
that may have been the best part, because now every time you see Mickey Mouse, I know what's going through your mind.
Yeah, and Yeah, we can keep talking about South Park. We got to stop that.
We actually have a legit question. Thank you, Michael, for getting us back on topic. So eviction protection for renters as opposed to any other form of protection for mortgages. I think what he's asking is, do they have those protections for mortgages? Because there are some in place for renters. Do you know if there's anything in place for mortgages?
Well, I wouldn't know anything about the renters. But evictions are for rent, not for mortgages, right?
Right, that would be foreclosure. But again,
however, that's the forbearance. That's it. That's what it is. I'll tell you, the problem with this forbearance thing is that the bill has to be paid. If the bill's not paid, the bond that it's tied to crashes, and if the bond market crashes, everything crashes.
Everything.
So I mean, literally the whole. Everything that we borrow on. So you have to make the payment, which means the lenders have to make the payment. And you get, a couple 100,000 people that stop making their payments, and that lender is on a tight margin anyways. My Lord, that has sunk several companies. Okay, they get sunk, the debt gets buyed up, great. But if that happens on a large enough scale, like say Wells Fargo, that could be catastrophic, and to more than just the landlords, but the renters too. That being said, I don't think there's enough protections in place at all. I mean, what's the stupid stimulus that's coming out right now? The stimulus is like what, $600 now a person? What's that gonna? It's not even a rent payment. What's that gonna do?
Don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started.
I know there's some extreme poor people that would love that, right? But except for that one outlier, like what are we talking about here? $600? And by the way, it was like 500 pages of stuff. Where's that money going?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I told you not to get me started on it. One of the things is this
happier topic, right?
one of the things is this Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. There's still like $41 million in this bill for a performing arts center.
So I don't actually know anything about the bill. I haven't really looked into it except for a headline I saw about how many pages it was, and just like, oh my God. I try now not to read this stuff because it just gets you so angry. I think it's designed. Honestly.
Here you go. This will make you happy. If I ever run for politics, the first law that I'm going to try to pass is that a bill can only deal with one thing at a time. If you're trying to give people money for COVID relief, that's the only damn thing that's allowed in the bill, and it might be 3 pages long. That's it. That's it. Why is this so hard for people to understand?
I'm sure there's some way that somebody would screw it up, And
Michael's right. $600 is about 3 hours at 12 Fox. That's fact.
That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. Well, what are those contracts? They make like $21 million a year doing those people doing the news announcements.
Yeah,
you're a professional talker. That's very rare to find people that can talk on TV.
Yeah,
is it really that? I mean, it makes me want to really get paid for it. To be honest with you. Sure is.
So you got me talking, and you said the thing is better get off past 20 minutes. Thanks, Shelly. I appreciate that. Shelly's tired of listening to us talk. You were saying that everything's tied to the bond market, and guys, that's one of the reasons we've had the run in the stock market that we've had over the last few years is because of the housing market going so well. And this is what you were asking me about this last time, and I'm going to show you. So here's what I was talking about: economic impact of a home sale, and this is in Texas. There you go.
You said that, but what you didn't tell me was that we're looking at the builder's perspective as well. So the builder makes a profit. So it's like, okay, fine, yes, all right. Now,
it's all of the profits that are tied up in a home sale.
New home sale, like a brand new, freshly, fresh paint, fresh wood, everything, fresh doors, windows, like a brand new house.
But here's the thing: it doesn't have
$40,000 for everybody else.
It doesn't have to be a brand new house. Because if I sell a resale and go to buy a new one, it's still the same. It's still the same.
But you're not paying the builder the $40,000 in profit. That's part of it.
I got you. Okay. So I see what you're saying. On a resale home, it is
There's no builder to pay. Yeah.
$40,000. Okay. Well,
but it's still a huge impact. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
You do 100 of those, we just had a $4 million impact. I mean, that's a big deal.
That's right, and that's happening all the time. In this area right now. So that's what I ran to grab, because when you said that a while ago that everything is tied to the bond market and how much is tied into the housing market in our economy and good things that happen there. I mean, it's a little bit of it's kind of a tightrope that we walk. So
okay, how about this? The Boring Company is coming here. You heard about this?
Yes, it is. Are they going to Pflugerville? Dude, I read stuff.
Yes, sir. Pflugerville. Where do you think they are going to put tunnels?
Under Town Lake. That's the whole reason he's moving it here. Is anybody not understanding that? The whole reason that he is coming here with the Boring Company is to run I-35 under Town Lake. And it is not Lady Bird Lake, it is Town Lake.
Can I give you a theory?
Go ahead.
For years now, if you want to spend a lot of money on property on the lake here at Lake Travis, which is the lake in Austin, right? It's like the lake that's closest here to Austin. Mm-hmm. You're on the south side, meaning the Austin side, meaning in other words, the lake is like here, right? Austin's down here, and if you live on this side, fine. If you live on the other side of the lake, you got to drive all the way around the lake to get back to Austin.
He's not going under Lake Travis.
I bet you he's going to go. Let me ask you this. What do you think it would do to values of homes in, like, say, Lago Vista if they did
they would skyrocket.
Like, how much do you think? 3/4 times the value. I mean, I'm telling you, I think if
I don't know if it would go that much, but I'm pretty sure, because I was doing a video up there on a $350,000 house, and I think I commented at the time that it would be worth $650 in Dripping Springs.
So we've been on Zillow on our boat, right? So we go out on the water, we get on Zillow, and on the south side of the lake, the Austin side, I like to call it, right? The homes are like, some of them are like 2-4 million, 3 million, something like that. But then the opposite side of the lake, they're like 600,000 to 800,000.
So what you're telling me is we need to see what entity he's buying property under, and if you see him start buying property in Lago Vista, it's time to go buy property in Lago Vista.
How funny would that be? You'd be like writing on the wall. Well, he bought some waterfronts and spent $20 million on the land there, but it was in Lago Vista. It seems like the wrong side of the lake. It'd be like, okay, that's it. That's the place, right? I don't know. I feel like he's mentioned how easy it can be. It's just a matter of getting the equipment there and then time. So I don't see it being an issue in the long run. I don't know though. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's an interesting theory. He keeps saying that limestone is so easy to dig through. You'd think the people that dug Mopac out and complained about it for a year.
What he's done so far have been like one track or little trials in areas. He hasn't done anything solid, like this whole city has got Elon Musk tunnels underneath the boring company, right?
Right.
I bet you Austin would get on board with that. They've already got a traffic problem.
Well, and that's an interesting thing, because a friend of mine, well, I don't say a friend, a guy that I know, we had this argument because the boring company out in in LA, sorry.
Yeah.
Elon kept saying that he was going to put in this citywide network of tunnels that was all on this hyperrail system that would kind of shoot you around in these little cars and pop you up to the surface. And I'm just laughing at the guy going, no, that's asinine, because you've got earthquakes, you've got water tables to deal with and all this other stuff. It's not scientifically feasible, at least right now. In my mind, it wasn't scientifically feasible. But you take a place like Austin, who's got major traffic issues, who doesn't have seismic activity, at least any time in the last 80 or 90,000 years, even though it's on a fault line. So that could, be some issues. But
you know what floored me about that? It's very interesting, because I thought the same thing, and then I looked into it. When there is a tsunami coming for the shoreline, besides up in the hills, where would you rather be?
Up in the hills. There's not a besides.
If you are 2-3 miles out in the water, you might have a couple inch rise. You would never.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
Right. Or if you're a scuba diver under the water, same 2-3 miles out, you don't feel anything. In fact, most scuba divers have come back up to find devastation in those situations. They come up and they've been like, wow, I didn't really feel anything. I felt a little bump maybe, right? And the reality is, if you're in an earthquake, the place you want to be is super low underground, because it works with the exact same principle. You would feel much, much, much less, if anything at all, being underground than you would being on the surface.
Well, so I understand what you're saying with seismic waves, but when you have complete dislocation,
fine.
That was my point.
Tectonic plates shifting. Yeah, we'll get fine.
Yes, that was,
despite except for doing it directly on a fault line. Yes, you would want to be underground. But I guess LA's on a fault line, so you do have a point there, right? There's not going to go from like LA to like Nevada or something like that underground, right? Which wouldn't be a bad idea, except for the fault line.
Yeah. Not bad. All right, man. So we have gotten way off of real estate and beer and everything else.
They're moving here. It's real estate related. It's raising values.
It is. So here's what you take out of this episode of After Hours Real Estate. Look where our boy, he's our boy now, evidently. He's a Texan. I don't know. I think I saw he had boots. Look where he buys land and go buy land next to him. There's the play. There's the real estate play.
I mean, do you think he's going to have like a secret? He's going to have like a secret under he's got the boring company. He just takes him in for the weekend, have him build him a bat cave, or you know what I mean, or a direct route to work.
Yeah.
Who would know?
I mean, I can't believe he hadn't started using it to build doomsday bunkers yet, but that's just me.
Who would know? Maybe he
would know. Yeah, he may. Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, brother. Thank you
again for this. If you see that thing cruising down the road towards Dripping Springs and turning north to my house, you know what I'm planning.
Well, real quick. Oh no, you know what? Never mind. He took his Cybertruck in one of those things with Jay Leno on a. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, sir.
Thanks, Michael.
He took Jay Leno in a Cybertruck on one of those boring tunnel things.
In the tunnel.
He looks at him in the video. He goes, "I don't know if this will fit. I think it will. It should. I don't know. I've never tried it before." And Jay Leno's like, "You're kidding, right?" And he's like, No, actually, I'm not. I think it'll fit. We'll be fine. We're fine. I think."
I gotta go back and look. I saw the videos, but I didn't look at it. I've got to go watch it now.
It's hysterical. Anyways, all right, man.
Well, good. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to the folks watching, and we'll pick this up next Monday at 5:00.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Cheers.